Good morning. Good morning. It is, I'm going to say it's about 2:50 a.m. I'm on my way to the gym right now. It's a Wednesday. And we're moving into that dark season. It's going to start getting darker. It's going to start getting darker, earlier, longer. But if you notice something, I've been doing these videos for a couple years, consistently. It's always been dark. So I got a revelation before I got into the car. Like literally, I'm turning the alarm on. I'm not thinking about doing this video. I'm never thinking about doing this video. I push play and I just start talking. But something came to me. And when I say something came to me, this is only going to manifest, or this is only going to relate to people who believe. And this is how quick things start to manifest or start to be revealed to you when you start to know whose you are, what you are. The vision that came to me was about baking. Not cooking, not frying, not getting on the grill. Baking. Baking is a very precision craft. It calls for exact measurements. Baking calls for exact measurements. You think I'm playing? If they ask for a teaspoon of baking soda and you give it a teaspoon and a half, I guarantee something will go left. I guarantee you. They ask for a cup of flour, you put a cup and a half, something will go left. If you fail to use a measuring stick or a measuring cup and level out exactly what was called for in baking, something will go wrong. Baking is not something that everybody does because not everybody can follow the directions. Because the directions are specific for a reason, because they are intended to get a little bit of this, a little bit of that at specific amounts in order to make a perfect creation. Meaning somebody has already cooked this, they've tried this over and over, and this is the way that you can get the best results. Baking, I like this. It's like I'm preaching, like I'm getting my reps in. T.D. Jakes says before he ever was the pastor over a mega church, he used to preach to chairs and 3 people in a little bitty place in where he was from, Virginia. And then when they wouldn't let him preach, he would go out into the woods and preach to the trees. God said, if he can trust you with a little, bless you with a lot. So baking. The reason why I'm talking about baking is because I was sitting there last night. Well, let me rewind. We had to go see Silas's teacher. She updates us. Now, at the beginning of every school year, we let the teachers know we're here to support you. So if something's going on in the classroom, at the school, give us a call first, and we promise to intervene and get involved. We promise to be there, get involved. So the teacher hits us up, calls us. I say, okay, I want to nip this in the bud. I said, send her a message back, said, we'd like to just come in, sit down with you, get a feel for what's going on, and you know, let's go from there so that we can get ahead of this. So we go in, sit down, she's telling us something. So I say, okay, great. I say, okay, well, I don't speak for my wife because I don't know what her schedule looks like. And the fact of the matter is, it don't take 2 of us to do some of the things that I volunteer for. So I might volunteer and say, well, look, this is what I'll do. I said, what I'll do is I'll help him work on his reading. And if anybody knows me, I love to make a commitment. I love to make a commitment because I'll go all in on it. I'm there. I'm doing it. Once I commit, it's done. You ain't got to ask me twice. It's done. One of the few gifts that I've been given is the ability to commit. So I said, I'll help him. So in my mind, I'm thinking, what's a normal amount of time that I can dedicate to this that I can be consistent with that will still help him? And I said, well, I'll carve out 15 minutes. Really, I was like 5 minutes. 5 minutes to read. You got to read 5 minutes. You got to read. Every day after school, we got to build that vocabulary up. We got to build up your ability to comprehend. Because I know that attached to reading, and I know I'm getting off the subject, but I know attached to reading is a lot of other very important things. I ain't talking about no A's and B's at school. I really care less about their A's and B's system, but I do care if my son knows how to comprehend or if he can read fast enough, because that's going to tell me whether or not he can read a stock chart or he can read a manifesto or blueprints. See what I'm saying? So it's tied to something deeper. So I committed to that. And I've been holding my commitment. So last night we're sitting there. Not a big deal, you know. I knew that there was other things I could have been doing. But I was like, nah. Those other things can wait. Those other things can wait. So I say, hey man, grab your book. And I want you to read out loud. And he says, all right, but I want you to sit with me. I don't know why he said I want you to sit with me, but I was like, all right, cool. I didn't even balk at that. I wasn't like, nah, man, this is your business. This is your responsibility. No, I committed to doing it with him. So I said, no problem. Sat down, turned my timer on. And real quick before I forget, we ended up reading over 15 minutes because he didn't want to stop. I'm getting to a point. And as we're sitting there reading, I'm noticing why he's not understanding. Because there's little key words that he can't pronounce or that he's not taking the time to pronounce. And when he mispronounces the word, the whole story makes no sense. So I say, hold on, that word that you just said wrong made the whole sentence. So if you say that one word wrong, the whole sentence sounds like gibberish. I said, so what's that word? And I said, sound it out. And he sounded out. I said, good. You got the word? He said, yeah. I said, now read the whole sentence again. He'll read the whole sentence. I'm like, now does it make sense? He said, yeah. And I got to thinking about baking. Because how many of us are either trying to put too much in, not put enough in? How many of us are missing the point that details matter in the recipe? How many of us are putting the wrong things first? And the things that should be first, last. See, first is first. First is first. It doesn't matter how you size it up. First is first. Come on. Come on, this is simple math. First is first. So why are you putting things that are second first? Why are you putting things third first? See, when I was sitting there reading with him, it became evidently clear that yes, I have a responsibility to gain wealth. My Bible says that a wise man leaves his children's children an inheritance. So it's a promise that I'm supposed to have wealth, without a doubt. But how much more wealth generationally can I have if I take care of what's first? How many times have we found that there were stuff going on with our children, but yet we put our work ahead of our children? First things first. How many times has there been something going on with our health, but we put work first? First things first. How many times have we got the money and then realized that the thing that would make us happy is still broke? First things first. People, be very careful. Be very careful about who you follow. Everybody has an agenda for you. The person trying to sell you a $25 box set on how to get rich quick, he is not concerned with how you raise your family. He's not even concerned with whether or not you get rich quick. He's concerned with selling the $25 box set. And he's going to do it no matter how he has to do it to get you to buy it. Whether you buy it and use it or not is not his concern. People running businesses are trying to coach you on how to be the best business person. It's not in their benefit to tell you how to spend more time with your children and build a legacy there. Because it takes away from what they need you to do, which is be productive to provide for what they're trying to do. Everybody has a plan for you. But do you have a plan for yourself? Your boss wants you to show up at work because they have a business to run. But do you have a plan for yourself? Do you have something for yourself picked out? Do you have a plan for yourself? What I'm saying is you got to start treating life like baking. You have to understand that it's a very specific formula. It's a very specific recipe. It's not like cooking where you just throw a little bit. Like last night, I made some turkey burgers. I just threw a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I started grabbing anything out of the cabinet that I thought would season it up. Baking is very precise. And first thing is first. You add the flour, 1/2 cup. You add the salt, 1 teaspoon. You add the baking soda, 1 tablespoon. You add 2 cups of sugar, 3 egg whites. Then you mix until frothy for 5 minutes in opposite directions every 2.5 minutes. Then you bake at 350 degrees for 25 minutes. Then you pull out. Then you let sit for 5 minutes. Then you cut it. Then you serve it on a cold plate. The order of your life is out of range. Your life is out of order. Your priorities are out of order. You're putting more time, effort, and energy into the thing that is second and third. You're ignoring what's first. And nothing will go right until you get your order of priority together. Money is never number one priority. But I will never lie to you and say money is not important. I'll never lie to you and say having money does not make things easier. I will never lie and say that. I'm not even convinced of that. But it's not number one. It's not number one. It's not. And you got to get that inside of your heart. You're focused on the wrong thing. And it's up to you to figure it out. Because what my life and the direction it's going in is not going to be what your life is supposed to be going in. Listen, people are not meant to be followed. They're just meant to be examples of what is possible. That is it. If I go following somebody else, trying to do what they do the way they do it, I will become frustrated. I will want to give up. I will want to quit, because that's not what I'm here for. You got to get that in your heart and stop trying to follow people and figure out what's the recipe of your life. What is the baking recipe of your life? You have to get that in your heart. You got to figure that out, and then you got to be obedient to follow that, because that's the only way you're going to get peace. That's the single, solitary, only way. That just came to me this morning. God bless. Take care.